So that's just a different point of opinion that I had, and I'll just like to quickly start with this. And before that, I'd like to introduce my co-founder. Is Abhishek. He's our chief of design and co-founder, and Anupama. She's our chief of tech and our co-founder. So we're going to talk about from idea to the execution today, and a different idea to another different idea to another different idea, and to the execution state or wherever we are right now. And we'll go through a couple of steps where we come in with an idea, and then we had some sort of validation. We built the team, and towards the end, right now where we have our craft.
Before that, 2-3 years back, we were sitting in similar kind of a lecture. So we were sitting in similar lectures, and both our students a decade, yes. So we were sitting in this lecture, and the guy who was speaking was talking about Facebook. Okay, he was talking about Facebook, Google, etc., Amazon, and just got into the web services and it was big. And उधर बैठ के हम ऐसे सोच रहे थे कि यार गूगल या फेसबुक ने कर लिया, हम अलग कैटेगरी के लोग हैं, क्या पता होगा नहीं. And a lot of people start telling you examples which are big in the startup industry, but at the same point of time, people that are just like us, they always think that they are in a different set, we are in a different set, they are in a different geography, we are in a different geography, and we, both of us, them and us, they have different conditions at which they are trying to make things work that are similar. But then, over the period of time, 3 years after that, we've come to terms with the fact that knowledge or whatever startup should do or shouldn't do is just one key in the entire jigsaw puzzle. So here what we'll be doing is we'll just share stories, and you judge whether it's right or wrong to do this, whether you want to do things that we've done at Gridle, and whether those things are something that should build successful startups or not.
So I'll just tell you briefly about us. We are a productivity platform for individuals, teams, and enterprises. We are a CII incubating and ideal global entrepreneur partner, a SAP startup focused on the Microsoft Discord member. And we are a small team of hackers, hustlers, and longing people. So our customers have realized an increase of 13% in productivity by using Gridle and so on and so forth. But I'm not over here to sell Gridle. I'm over here to basically tell a story, right, of what we did, how we started, and what were the obstacles along the way, and how did we try to solve it.
ऐसा क्या हो गया पता है? He's been so much into pitching Gridle to sales and investors that जैसे Gridle का नाम आता है, it cares about 13% of productivity, no matter whether it is sales, whether it is investors, whether it is such kind of lecture. Whenever you start talking about Gridle, he starts pitching about 13% of productivity at Gridle, and we do enterprise software. We were using WhatsApp, and then we pitched down to this and that. So we both have this knack of arguing, debating. If you visit our offices, you will see us sometimes fighting over things. And anybody follows TechCrunch? TechCrunch. Anybody does TechCrunch? I read a great quote by TechCrunch that if you just get a designer and no engineer, you will have art galleries all over. If you have just the engineer and not the designer, you will have parking garages all over. But if you have engineer and a designer, you can probably drive opening up a successful business. So that's how we are. Three of us have a very beautiful kind of a relationship when it comes to fighting, and that is something that you will see here also. We'll be debating a lot.
So the first thing is the idea, and I've been doing this, talking to people, and some of them entrepreneurs, some of them investors, some of them customers, and all of all of them have ideas. I mean, ideas are seriously dime a dozen. And people, I don't know why they hesitate in sharing what their idea is. The point is that if you don't think that you are the best person or even remotely good enough person to execute that idea, and you are afraid that if I tell my idea to, let's say, Abhishek or let's say Tejas for that matter, and you'll be able to execute it faster, then as it is, you're not the good person or the right person to start it. You need to have that courage to share your idea and talk to people before you are starting up. And if you tell your idea to people is when you'll be able to see whether there is genuine interest or not, whether there are people who are excited about the same idea as you are or not. And that's the first thing that I'd like to share with you is if you have an idea, and no matter how detailed has it been figured out, or no matter how it's just on a paper napkin in a cafe, but share it with people, and that's when you'll actually learn and know more. That there are so many more perspectives to those ideas, and you should actually try and have a diverse group of people where you go and experiment, telling the same idea in different ways to different people, and then gauging what their reaction is. That's really productive. The second point is, and I'll tell you a little story about us. When we started off as being a portal where both of us are non-tech. I'm an engineer, but I'm a mechanical engineer with an investment banking background, so I cannot code. And he tries to, but still he can't. So basically, both of us thought of an idea that we were in our third year at the time, and we were having a lot of issue finding an internship. And we thought, if we could have a portal where there could be companies and there could be students, and students could just apply for internships, kind of like Internshala or Let's Intern, or Interestship is one of the Ahmedabad-based startup. It wasn't around at the time. Okay, if we build something like this, it would be great. So we started, discussing it with people. We started going to the companies. So ultimately, companies were going to pay us. Students don't have money. So we went around and talked to companies, and companies say, the biggest problem that we face is, since we are a business-to-business facing customer, we are a B2B company, there's an issue with employer branding that we do. There are some people who apply, but even the people who apply don't know enough about the company that they feel passionate about the work that they are going to do, or the job role, or why we are doing what we are doing, and why we are selling to who we are selling to, and so on and so forth. So we thought, that's probably an actual problem, and that's when we pivoted to making a platform, a blogging platform where enterprises could have all of their employees kind of have a private blog and a shared blog, and the administrator in an enterprise could just tick mark on those blogs and they'll be published, because they were basically trying to create content where there was none. They would have one content writer who would write blogs about the company, and even he's bored to death with the job that he has. So why not crowdsource the content and put it out there? And that's something that we started to do, and we started to build, because we had enough code base by that time. We didn't have a team, but we hired interns, and I'll get back to that in some time. But we kind of had a very minimal prototype, and we showed it to companies, and companies said, what, I like what you're doing, but I'm not going to pay you for it. I said, why? And he was like, okay, so if I do this, I'll probably start getting returns on this a year or 2 years or 3 years down the line. More importantly, the returns are not going to be tangible. It's not going to be something that I will touch and feel. It's not going to save my time. It's not going to save my money. I use it for sure, but I'm not going to pay you. So we asked, okay, what would you pay for? And they said, let's see what are the problems that we face. So one of the problems that we are facing is that we just use way many things. We use this Outlook, and we use some other calendar app. We have HRMS, and we have CRMs, and we also have an account management software, and we have one where we do video conferencing with, one where we just have instant messaging. If you could, kind of have a tool, that helps us communicate properly within the organization, it would be great. And we thought, okay, that's a great idea. Let's talk to people about it. And when we started researching, we did it on both fronts. One was, if this is such a huge problem, why aren't there enough tools out there? And we came across Asana and Basecamp, and Slack was not around at the time, but Asana, Basecamp, Yammer, Jive, Social Custom, and so on and so forth. We figured out that they do just one thing. Right? If you you go to Asana, you can manage your tasks. And then we realized, okay, so let's pitch it as a communication platform. All the employees, their teams, their files, their everything, tasks, everything is on just one platform. And let's have it as a communication platform. And then over a period of time, we realized that, okay, communication is a feature that we are providing. What actually we are selling to the company is the benefit, and the benefit is that their productivity increases, and by how much does it increase is by 13%. And okay, so let's go to companies and tell that, if you're going to use this tool, you're a 50 people company, the same people using this tool 2 months down the line will behave as if they are 55. And that's a huge margin that you can have. You can lower your costs, you can earn probably a bit more, and so on and so forth. And we've pivoted so much and so many times in the past 3 or 4 years that the company name, as they just mentioned, is Pivoting Softwares Private Limited. And that's something that we've accepted, that we're never going to be very clear of what we are going to do. We are doing what our customers are telling us. That, okay, you're doing this, probably you need this, and we know it a bit. And if we can make it better, we'll give that. Third is that startups are meant to fail. If you think about it, it's either just you or a couple of people you don't have a clear business model, you don't have a way to get funding right now. Basically, you don't have 3 of the 4 pillars to build a business. You just have an idea. No business model, no money, no team, nothing. And that basically is a formula for failure, right? The point is that if something that saves you from failing is networking. The more you meet with people, and that again goes to the idea that the more you meet with people, the more you talk to them, the more you start realizing that what you actually thought was not right, and let's do it this way, and then you pivot, innovate, change, and you basically end up accepting that change is constant and let me do it this way. So a couple of things about the idea is you should share, you should change the idea incrementally, you should not obsess with it. And the third one is that the more you network with the idea, the better it is for you. And something that's really important is you should never ever bullshit the guy in the middle. Seriously, that's something that we are all habituated to do. And we always keep on खुद ही को समझाते हैं कि हाँ यार हो जाएगा, अभी तो उसने तो सिर्फ ये बोला है और उसने वो टोन में बोला है. That means that he wants probably something more, something less, and so on and so forth. Never ever do that. Just be as strict and as straight and with yourself. It's really, really important.
So there's kind of a paradox on startups are meant to fail. There are 2 schools of thought that you might have been reading about on failures. A lot of people say that the only thing is to stick it around where you started and things will go well. There are a lot of people who say that if you were meant to fail fast and start and kind of rush into it, rush into the game. The reason why it is like that is because we've gone through a evolutionary cycle right from the childhood. I'm sure that 90% of us would have gone through this. 8th 9th स्टैंडर्ड में आते हो तो पेरेंट्स बोलते हैं बेटा 10वीं पास कर ले, बाद में तो मजे लगे. जैसे कि 11th में आते हो 10th पास करके तो पेरेंट्स बोलते हैं बस 12वीं पास कर ले, बाद में तो मजे लगे.
अच्छी इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में मिल गया था.
हाँ, अच्छी इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज में मिल गया, फिर मजे लाइफ में, जॉब अच्छी मिल गई, तो फिर मजे लाइफ में, और मजे कभी नहीं आते.
Somehow, they just don't come.
They just don't come. And this is a paradox. It is just, और startups are the same thing. इन्वेस्टर बोलेगा चलो सही है, तुमने उसको मॉडल बना लिया, अब थोड़ा ट्रैक्शन ले आओ, फिर इन्वेस्ट. थोड़ा ट्रैक्शन लेके आओगे, फिर बोलेंगे कि अब थोड़ा रेवेन्यू दिखा दो, बाद में वो रेवेन्यू भी लाया, बाद में बोलते हो कि अच्छा भाई ऐप नहीं आया, ऐप ले आओ, बाद में इन्वेस्ट करो. And it will go on and on and on and on and on. So the kind of the moral of the story is that if you're meant to fail, if the thing that you're going to judge is the way that you're moving on to it. And if you're meant to fail, just fail fast. Just do it and fail fast. Don't wait for excuses to come along your way. Don't bullshit yourself about saying that it's okay, it was because of that code, it was because of this thing, it was because of that competition. Just accept the failure, move ahead, and take the challenge on a different target and a different sector.
Actually, in India, people have a habit. They never say no. No matter how bad your idea is, they just don't. Right? I tell you this straight. This is Sterling Hospitals, Sterling Hospitals we have. So I bring. Okay.
And this have a huge challenge to a lot of people when they go and ask.
Absolutely. So this, I've been trying to license Gridle to Sterling Hospitals since 6 months. And every month, and I follow up. And that this is a remedy that I found out. I follow up with people till the time that they just don't say no. Stop calling me or stop emailing me. Dude, you spamming. Till the time that they say that, I just keep on following up with it. And it's been 6 months now that IT head is the person I'm dealing with. And every 15 days, I shoot an email to him. He reports. If I call him and he misses my call, he calls me back. But he doesn't say no. He is not licensing this. He's not buying the software. He's not even saying me, okay, हाँ अभी ऐसा हो रहा है, हमारा budget खत्म हो गया, अभी March end आ गया, अभी April 15 को हमारा meeting है, CEO in town नहीं है, ये नहीं. But I know it is not for Sterling Hospitals. It's basically our very selfish motive behind it. We just want one well-known healthcare company to use Gridle because that opens up a vertical for us. Okay, Sterling's using it, so I can go with that to Apollo and so on and so forth.
इन्वेस्टर ने बोला और एक वर्टिकल लेके आओ, उनको हम चेकलिस्ट दिखा सकते हैं कि हाँ इसके what is the next target?
So I know probably they'll not like it or I don't know, but I want to find out and I'm going to. But this is a habit that you face in investors, in your mentors. Rohit is one of our mentors, and he has a tremendously good habit of saying no. Seriously, and if I say something, he doesn't like no. This is.
You won't believe on what point. He said that yeah, बनाने में हमको 1 महीना लगेगा. No. we are the ones who are going to make it, and the no comes from the सामने की side. In no, you cannot take more than 15 days. It cannot just happen. ये करने में हमको 2 महीना लगेगा. No, it cannot just happen. You have to do it in 10.
Exactly.
That is the best part of it.
Exactly, and then we have this discussion every other day. So when we tell them कि नहीं 15 नहीं 20-25 मान लो, it take 25 days, and then he mails me the other day of some article of some of our competitors, Slack probably getting published somewhere. Oh, you should think about this. They are on these many platforms and this and that kind of fires you. So you should always surround yourself with people and listen to people who say no. यार ये तो नहीं करना है, ये नहीं हो सकता है. I'm not going to buy this. I'm not going to give you money, and these are the reasons why I should learn and kind of move on.
But one good thing that he has is he's very diligent on following up that data. Like he said, he last 6 months वो स्टूडेंट को मेल कर रहा है. उस बंदे ने पता नहीं क्यों नहीं बोला कि भाई को प्लान कर रहा है. I went to him and I said कि do this plan.
Yeah, I CC him. Yeah.
Don't CC me or don't mail him. Do one thing or the other. Please don't spam.
Okay. Validation is also one of the very important things that comes along when you have an idea. And a part of that, when you're talking to people. See, okay, I'll tell you this. When you come up and tell me what you're working on, if you're trying to sell me or sell something to me, or whatever it is, I don't care enough until and unless I have enough amount of skin in the game, or it is a tremendously big problem that I'm facing, or there are a couple of reasons. So you need to find that one thing out, right? If I'm talking to an investor, I know that what he wants, and I'm going to change my pitch, or make some small changes in what I'm going to say, or the way I'm going to say it, according to the way that he's going to care a lot about it. I'm going to include, that we are going to partner with one of your existing portfolio companies. If I talk to a customer, I'm going to tell them that your customers can also use this application and so on and so forth. So the first thing when you're doing your validation is, when you're talking to a person, you have to make him care. There are couple of different ways to go about it. For example, when I talk to Abhishek, I know how to make him care about what I'm asking him to do. If I want him to make a tour for Gridle, or design a tour for Gridle, I know that I'm going to tell him that, see, we have a presentation with an investor in a couple of days, and he's going to sign up. He's not going to ask me to demo him. If I demo him, I'll be able to convince him, but he's not going to ask me to demo him. He's going to try and check it in, for himself. And if we don't have a tour, it's going to have a bad impression. That's how I make him care.
No, that's just your word. He just promises me a MacBook from last 1.5 years.
Yeah, so that's when you make the tour and I get the investor and I get the money, your customer. Like, investors are not going to buy it. Investors are people, they may invest, they may not invest, they will promise you, hamara connections hai and we'll get you this and we'll get you that. It never happens. I mean, at least I've never seen it happen with our company or with the companies that I've known around in Ahmedabad or around, right? And they want to talk to you. They want to know what you're doing, what are you up to, and so on and so forth. Ask, what are the product reviews that you're getting. But that's for nothing, yeah. That's tremendously a waste of your time when you're talking to people who have nothing to give it to. And that's basically the third one, where being an entrepreneur, if you spend 6 months being an entrepreneur, you are always asking things from others. You're asking for opinions, you're asking for money, you're asking for space, you're asking for an internet connection, you're asking for a person to work with you for free, and that terribly humbles you. And when you are humbled, you cannot value your own time. And you talk to some big shot in pharma guy about a startup that you are opening in ride-sharing space. And with no disrespect to the pharma guy, he's 45, he's 50, he's done, he's achieved a lot in his life, but that's just not the right person for you, right? He does not know anything that goes on in this industry. And that's where valuing your own time comes in the picture, where you need to say no, that no, I'd love to talk to you, we can catch up on a coffee or a lunch or a dinner, but right now, I'm working, probably I won't be able to take a meeting with you. Just because you want an ego boost where you feel, okay, I'm mentoring, helping a lot of other people. You need to understand that your time is of tremendous importance, and more importantly, the only thing that you have probably as a startup working in your favor is the agility and the speed with which you can work and develop. And if over there you're wasting your time or your efforts, it's just not worth it. And as far as validations go, there's a great quote by Narayan which says, if you have data, let's go with data, and if all we are doing is going with opinions, then let's go with mine. This is one that we have framed and put it in our office as well. You're welcome to see. And we put it in our office that everyone, we just don't give out our opinions. We give out fair data that's suggesting us something, we need to build this feature or we need to remove this feature, so on and so forth. But you should always bank on data. And Kunal Shah of Reacher, recently got acquired, said that there's nothing that cannot be measured. Typically one of the first examples that marketing guys will probably will give you is, okay, you cannot measure the return on investment on the wording that you put up. But you can with if you take certain amount or enough amount of assumptions, you can. And just don't give up on anything that you think cannot be measured. Just try and measure it. 13% productivity, how can I tell I have increased your productivity by 30? You've taken a lot of assumptions in measuring that, right? But when I say that, it obviously makes the other person care, okay, I'm going to work 7 hours and I'm going to work as if it were 8 hours. So that's basically really important, where you have data and you make sense out of it.
Yeah, so Yash has mentioned a point that listen to customer. So do you actually think that works? So have any one of you tried that listening to customer works? It does?
Sometimes.
Is there anybody who has said that, who can say that no, it doesn't work?
Sometimes it may work, sometimes it may not. There are some customers who always keep complaining. Even if you provide them with the best, they keep complaining. So,
yeah, so
to get better out of you, but still.
So sometimes it happens. It happened with us as well in many cases that they don't know what they want. So they would. You have to be very careful when you're listening to your customer. So you have to have a deep understanding. So they would say, like in our case, Gridle, they said, we want to open our Gmail in Gridle. Seriously? You want to open the Gmail interface in Gridle? No, we need to understand that they are asking, they want to say that they want to make a task from their email so that can directly come to Gmail. So you have to be very careful when we are listening to a customer.
Alright, the team, this one's really important. Um, there are a couple of things that we do when we recruit or when we are going to expand our team or have just a couple of people work with us. The first thing is that we always recruit people as interns first. We kind of insist upon it, so that when we recruit a person as an intern, we're not banking on a 1 hour or 2 hour interview with that person. We're banking on a 3 months long, proper 8 hours of working with him, where we know what's his attitude, what's his work ethic, what's the quality of his work, and so on and so forth. And at the same time, he also gets a chance to evaluate whether he or she wants to work with Gridle in the future or not. And this has worked out tremendously well for us in the past. Over the period of past 2 years, we've been doing this where we recruit a batch of 6 or 7 interns and then convert a couple of them to work with us going forward. So that's basically helps us building a team rather than hiring employees. So when you have funds, now technology is cheap, right? You can buy laptops, you can rent out a space, you can have internet connections and pay for electricity, and that cost probably amounts for 10 or 15% of what your actually monthly or quarterly burn rate is, because the rest of the 80% is going into paying salaries to people. You need good people to work with you. So the major cost that your company is incurring is in hiring employees, and it should not be so. You should always go for building a team rather than having employees, because employees will work from 10 to 6 and then leave. While if you have a team, and if you have a deadline to reach, or if you have a customer to impress, or if you have an investor to pitch to, they'll work with you for a week till 12 in the night, come next day 9 in the morning, and they do it for as long as it takes, because they know how the company works and how the company functions, and you kind of inculcated that into their work ethics or culture. Second is we do not hire a person till we've done that job. So we were looking for a marketing person for Gridle, and what we did was I first tried doing that job, that along with the sales and business development and whatever that I do, I tried marketing Gridle. So some amount of money and advertising on Google and LinkedIn and Facebooks, and understanding what is this job exactly, because coming from an investment banking background, coming from a design background and technology background, none of us know what are the skills that you look for in a marketing person who's going to work with you. But once you do that job, and once you feel that excruciating pain, you exactly know what you are going to ask them to do. And that's important, because we've tried recruiting without that. We tried recruiting a video guy, we tried recruiting a content writer, and we basically had to invent work for him. अच्छा तो free बैठा है ये कर ले, which is not that important, but we had to invent work for him, and that's a terrible waste of resource. And thirdly is you should not hurry when you are building a team which kind of covers up into having them interns first and then working with them for some time and then converting them into full-time employees and taking it forward to sell. And the really nice thing about a team is that no matter what happens, at least your team is with you. They'll always be with you. In case of employees, that's not the case. Employees are where there is more salaries, and teams are where there is more growth or passion or vision. So that's probably one of the.
Employees are very dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous.
For a startup.
This is the fourth one, and the last one is that when you're building a product. So the first thing that we keep in mind when we are designing any feature or building anything is that it just apart from being innovative or little innovative or magnificently innovative, is this useful enough? Because we believe that usefulness is always greater than innovation. Innovation is kind of a buzzword. Innovations come and go. Okay, I'll tell you a little story. A couple of decades ago in US, there was this thing called Gold Rush. Do you know about Gold Rush? So there's this guy who developed an innovative mechanism where you can actually, in little amount, but actually you could get gold out of mud. That there is gold in mud, but you can extract that gold. And if you do it for a huge enough amount of mud, you'll be able to get enough gold that you break even, and then you can build businesses out of it. And that was tremendously innovative. You know who made the most amount of money during the gold rush? Do you know that? Which companies made the most amount